All right, all right. So good. We've got a good spillover for live prospecting. Look, and I'm just pull up this chat that I had written to my team because we want to put something together for you. If you look at the different ways that you can reach out, there's only so many different ways that you can reach out. There's a phone call, there's a text message, there's a voice note, a video, a handwritten note, a postcard, a drop by, a client gift, a client event, coffee, lunch, and dinner. So you should be driving all of your conversations to that one outcome. One of the weird things that I think about along with these court cases and other things is the obsession that real estate agents have with cold leads. And the reason that people have this obsession over cold leads is that it's instant gratification. They think just because somebody hit a button and inquired about a house, oh, they're going to buy from me now. When the reality is, and I know my buddy Parker sees this all the time now in her calls, it is your past clients are tried and true people that'll refer you. In fact, 10% or more will refer you somebody if you stay in contact with them regularly. So these 30 minutes on top of practicing your actual skill set is the most important time for you to dedicate to yourself every single day. You need to think about this as brushing your teeth and taking a shower. I hope none of you would leave your house without brushing your teeth and taking a shower, just as I hope with you, none of you would go a day without practicing and prospecting. But this is why people's businesses go like this, because they don't do any of this stuff. And then they wonder, well, I don't have any clients. This month is bad. And this is how people end up in credit card debt. When they have a quarterly tax bill, they don't pay their taxes because they don't have money. This is the whole life cycle of this. And this is why then you get a deal and all of a sudden, like, oh, my deal, I'm going to get this deal. It's going to pay everything off. And do you think when you're in that kind of situation, you're detached from the outcome? No, you need money. It is a real life thing. So I always say to people, like, if you think prospecting sucks, imagine not having money for your human needs. That really sucks. And on the other end of this, the people that do this consistently always have business. Always. So if you need anything out of all of those things, phone calls, text messages, voice notes, videos, handwritten notes, postcards, drop by ideas, a client gift idea, client event idea, an invitation to send for a coffee, lunch, or dinner, you literally can drop it in the chat and I will literally in real time give you exactly what you need to get to send off. So there's no excuse not to be able to reach out to people. This is the only place in any coaching program in the entire world that they do this with people. And my goal is to eliminate any challenge that people have. Like I always tell you guys, get more out of me during these sessions. I want to help you. I want to give you these scripts. Miriam, who's not here today, has 10 listings she shared in the morning session just from these outreaches, 10. And what did she really do? Sit in front of her computer and play on her phone and talk to people that she knows and likes that have already made money for her? It's really not complicated. But as Tony Robbins says, once you label an experience, that's what it becomes. So on that note, start dialing for dollars or use any of these other methods of communication. And let's keep pushing the envelope. And if you need any of those things laid out for you, written out for you, just tell me and I'll write it in real time in the chat. So ready, set, go. Thank you for putting me to work. Yeah, there you go. Parker, hope your 2024 has been off to a great start. Would love to catch up over a cup of coffee. When's a good time for you to connect? So calling expired listings, number one, they're going to be irritated, agitated, and pissed off. Right. So one of the things is like, oh my God, you're the 50th person that's called me. Like, hey, I'm really sorry. I guess your agent didn't tell you if they didn't do their job right, that you'd be solicited with nonstop phone calls, emails, messages, and things. You're like, oh my God, yeah. And you're gonna say, are you still looking to make a move? And they're gonna say, no, I'm not looking to make a move. I'm gonna say, great. So and here's the money line. So you're no longer accepting full price offers for your home. I'm gonna say, well, there it is. So I'm sorry. That was my kid's school, or so I would have never picked up. I have a daughter that wants to make pretend that she has stomach aches all the time, but she's fine. And she's trying to convince me to convince the nurse to let her come home. So I'm a human like the rest of us, but let's just all keep pounding away for Veronica, who's wants to drop off poppy seed, just drop off something and say, hey, I just want to put a face to the name and just introduce myself. And that's it. Don't say I want to be a real estate resource or anything else like that, right? Interested in dropping off two CMAs to two neighbors, a few houses in the neighborhood recently sold. What can I say or call or just deliver to the door? I would just knock there and say, hey, I want to introduce myself. I'm your neighbor at 123 Main Street. I know we're always curious as to what our neighbor's home sold for and potentially how it's impacted ours. So I just prepared some information for you. And I just wanted to just drop it off personally. If it's useful, great. And that's it. Don't ask for anything. Don't say I want to be a real estate resource. I want to be a realtor for a lot. Nothing. Just give the value and leave. They're going to be so confused and intrigued. All right. Who has questions, comments, concerns? Come on, keep them coming. We're rolling here today.
Hi, Chirag. If I can have your 3 minutes, I just want your professional advice. This is Shanna Young from Bellevue. I recently had a listing presentation. Everything went well. We started in September last year, and I had updated CMA presented, dialogue and phone conversation, email, everything went well. And then about 4 months later, the projected time, the seller said we haven't decided to go with the other agent. So I calmly ask all the right question, I think, what I can do to betterment for my future business, and is there anything negative and you could contribute and help me? He said nothing. And the bottom line, their response was, you were the top four, and we interviewed the four people, and then we just met this other fellow agent, then we clicked. I didn't know how to digest that response, but I could get it in a human level.
When people click, right, it means that somebody's needs, wants, desires, goals, expectations, and unique situation was spoken to in a more direct way than yours. That's why that whole Med C process is really important, because that's exactly what people want. So that feeling of that click is there. And the other thing is, look, if people are going to do this long-term stuff, when they agree to say, oh, I want to work with you, you need to get them to sign a contract immediately.
Exactly. They demanded, they wanted a process. They were waiting for luxury assisted living, the physical exam, all of their necessary process, and I supported that. The minute he said that, and nothing was wrong in the professionally, but they clicked. But I knew that I identified who is a decision maker in that process. It was a wife. And then there was a little bit of a pause in there. I picked that chemistry right away. So I appreciate that, and everything is good. So I'm concentrating on my buyer who's been waiting on my back pocket to see the house to go alive. But I was compelled to just hear from you how I feeling, and my gut feeling was the right, or was there any other things, and you could give me some insight. So thank you for
Also,
that.
you left the window open too long, right? Like I can honestly share this with you. You know, you do something long enough and people say they want to work with you, there's a certain confidence, right? I'll never forget this in my life, what this feeling felt like. I was an agent and I beat out 6 other brokers in a town that I didn't even work in, right? It was one of the highest prices in the neighborhood. I'm patting myself on the shoulder. I'm working with the guy. I sent my own contractors there. I project manage. I worked with the appraiser, all the things I tell you about, right? And in the end, there was like a serious discrepancy in price and stuff like that. And I did not get a listing contract signed. And in the end, they went with somebody else.
Yeah.
And I asked the guy, "Oh, can I ask you something?" Because he came from a client that was a doctor that sent me 12 other people. I go, "If I signed a contract with you," he goes, "that's your opportunity for growth. We would have never even thought of doing this."
Yeah. It crossed my mind, definitely. But I was too polite, and I realized that sometimes in the business sense, in situation that don't overly polite, don't over process. When the timing, you just go stick with the plan and go by the book. That crossed my mind. So,
Yep,
thank you.
you're welcome. We've never even thought of making like a term sheet, so that's I'll share that with my team. That's an interesting concept.
Recently, just to piggyback a little bit on the last person that spoke, and I'm sorry I didn't catch her name. Um, I had a really great listing presentation, and ultimately, when the seller called me, he decided to go with another agent, but I was runner up, and if anything happened with that agent, he wanted to work with me. Um, the conversation I had with him went really well, even though I didn't get the listing. He had offered to still be a referral in some way, if I had any future listing presentations. And I spoke to my sales manager about it, and she said, "Well, you could also follow up and say, would you be open to writing a review on my Yelp or Google page?" So there is a way of still maybe gaining a little more out of that, even though I didn't get the listing.
You know, the other thing is sometimes we're not really sure to work with you or the other agency. I'm always happy to collaborate and co-broke. And most other agents, like, I don't want to co-broke, and you just make yourself look better.
Oh, yes, that's another way. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chirag, what one thing that's helpful for us, usually like if we don't close on the first meeting, which we usually do, I always ask, is it okay if, while you meeting other agents, is it okay if we have another conversation about something the agent might have brought up that I didn't bring up? And usually I at least get a second call with them or get some type of feedback just to go, I basically get a second shot, second or third shot sometimes.
That's a great point, right? If you come across something that an agent said that I didn't bring up, would it be okay if we at least had another conversation before we make a decision?
Which I learned from you.
Yeah. Sometimes people give us back our own stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is great. Like, we're the one who shared that. So much information, so many different things. But what we really want to do is like take all of this stuff and put a lot more structure around it in terms of the way we package it, present it. You'll all be happy on Thursday, so make sure you can attend the call. Just use this morning on a buyer and it'll be perfect. Justin will be reading a role play group for those of you who would like to connect with him next time around. People that want those aggressive one-step closes, he's your guy. It's not really that aggressive, but yes, it'll be recorded. All right, 3-minute warning.
What? Okay, so I do have one. What would you say to a possible seller that, I think I wrote this a little bit earlier. I don't know if you read the situation, but her property's in a neighborhood that really has depreciated in value. The past few years, Oakland's getting some bad rep in the media and a few other things. So property value in this particular neighborhood has dropped 200, 300,000.
Ooh.
Yes, a pretty big dip. And yeah, how to have that conversation with a seller without using all the jargon.
I would just base it on, over the last several months or whatever the time frame is. I've noticed, not that I've noticed, there has been a significant change what other buyers are willing to pay to live in this area. What do you think about that? And based on that information, is this the right time for you to make a move? I would just leave it up to them.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. See, that's a good question. And for everyone notice, I didn't bring up the media. I didn't bring up anything. I didn't even use the word the market's declined. Remember, you need, if someone else isn't the villain, someone else or something, then you're the villain.
Real quickly before we're done with the call, I had a client that I met through another agent last year, and we were searching briefly together. I've lost touch with her. I'd love to just send her like a quick casual text and say something to
Find something you connected with and be like, hey, just saw this or went by this or thought of you because of this, and just want to see how you're doing. That's it.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. 1 minute warning. Last questions, comments, thoughts, concerns. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, this brings us to 1 o'clock, and Zoe's love of my heart. I love you all. Keep believing in yourself. Follow it with relentless action towards your goals, your dreams, and ultimately your happiness. So don't give up on you. You're worth the time, the effort. And remember, you give so much to everyone else in your life every day. Make sure that you fill your own cup first. So on that note, I'll see you all later. Bye, everybody.